Hey, my narcissistic abuse family. Happy Father's Day to the real fathers out there. I apologize for not making this in advance. To be honest, I was laying there this morning and I was thinking so many things. I was like, I have to put this in a video and put it out because I know I'm not alone on this one. So, if you follow me, you realize that I was brought up in a terribly toxic, narcissistic, dysfunctional family. I don't call it a family, I call it a unit. So I had a narcissistic mother, I had an enabling father. I also believe that he's an inverted narcissist now that I've learned more about that role as well. He is absolutely, undoubtedly been the enabler my entire life, and he fully supports the narcissist, unflinching loyalty to her. So, as a child of this toxic duo, I suffered the repercussions of this malicious arrangement. And I was thinking to myself, because I do have a friend whose father passed away within the last year, and you might be in this situation as well. And they actually had a substantial, loving, meaningful relationship. So I was obviously extending my condolences to my friend. And I thought to myself, this really sucks for people in our position, whether your father was a narcissist or maybe he was just the sidekick role. I call him the henchman as well. But we grew up without fathers, and there's no sympathy from anybody by societal standards. You know, if these people were physically present, then people have no conception of how absolutely toxic and detrimental they were to our development. So, growing up in a home with a narcissistic parent, you are deprived of basic necessities to facilitate human development, like nurturing, love, just a basic affinity, a natural connection. It's non-existent when you have a narcissistic parent. So in my situation, I had a narcissistic mother, and the henchman couldn't have been more absent from my life. And that's absolutely a strategic move on behalf of the narcissistic mother, because we know that she triangulates people to support her. So narcissists have the mentality, the mental, emotional capacity of a juvenile, of an adolescent, or a toddler. So the way they see everything is like my team, your team. So she absolutely broke up this family unit to be her team versus me. I was the black sheep, I was a scapegoat, so I was targeted as an adversary. The one of the most horrible points of that is I'm almost 40 and it has taken me all this time to finally see it for what it is. But basically, I've never had a genuine connection with my father. So, narcissistic mother, the head of the household, by all means, in that respect, she absolutely constructed things to revolve around her. So that includes, I had an older brother as well who was a flying monkey, golden boy. He hated me as well. I have no contact with him, and I finally got no contact with the toxic duo, and to be honest, I'm thrilled about it. Today is a day that I'm celebrating my husband and the amazing relationships that he has with our children. Now, he was raised in a home by basically his mother was a single mother. God bless her. She was absolutely amazing, and she made up above and beyond and then some for my husband's piece of crap father that was a narcissist as well. His father took off on the family when my husband and his younger brother were kids. So left the mom to fend for herself. She was a victim of this narcissist, undoubtedly. And she was an incredible mom. She showed up to all my husband's like athletic games. I remember being in college and Joe was playing football, and she would come and she would support him and she would video all his games. It was the sweetest, kindest, most heartfelt, motherly thing to do. He was also in the Marines, and when he was deployed, she used to keep scrapbooks for him, cut out all the articles that he was missing related to his unit, and she would send him all of his favorite things whenever she could. She was amazing. So shout out to my husband's mom that passed, unfortunately. Only the good die young, I'm starting to think, but that doesn't explain the rest of the amazing people in the world. But my son back there as well, he passed in 2013 from brain cancer, and my husband and I have been through quite a bit, and I'm in a wheelchair. There's a lot going on here, but he's an incredible father. His piece of crap father, shepherd that he was, compelled my husband to be the best husband he could be and the best father that he could be. And similarly, I took that mentality on as well, because my mother was Satan's spawn, basically. I took on the mentality that I want to be everything for my kids that I was yearning for, that I've always wanted my whole life. So we're better parents thanks to these wretched examples of everything we don't want to be. And this probably you if you're watching this, but my point that I was getting to is that my friend, her father had passed, and they had a loving, genuine relationship, and it was sad, and I extended my condolences. But I was thinking, like, gosh, I was robbed of having both parents my entire life, but because these pieces of crap still exist out there in the world, they're physically living, no one sees how sad and painful it is for us as victims of narcissistic abuse, growing up in a home where you don't have your parents. And nobody appreciates that. Like, I'm so grateful that narcissistic abuse awareness is catching on and people are wising up to it. But that people that have not experienced this horrible dynamic or been the victim of it really don't appreciate it the way people in this community do. So I just wanted to say, be kind to yourselves today. It sucks. It's hard to not have a dad, whatever the circumstances may be. But in our cases, having a narcissistic family unit, and whether your dad was the actual narcissist or the enabler, he was no part of your life, and they actually were sabotaging us, like working against us. Not only were they not a part of our lives, we had no genuine connections, but these excuses for dads were harming. They were doing harm to us. Whether it was physical or emotional, we've suffered a lot as victims of narcissistic abuse. And it is Father's Day, and it's still sad for us. So we need to be kind to ourselves. Give yourself more credit. like I said, my friend whose father passed, God bless her and her dad. And it's sad when you see people that have real, genuine connections with their parents and real relationships. Honestly, like that kind of chokes me up. And I see it with my husband and our children. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, that makes me really happy. That fills me with unexplainable joy because I'm thrilled that these children are getting the love and support and nurturing that I never got as a child. And that my husband, he got that from his mother, but his dad took off. So if you're watching this, no doubt you are going in that direction as well, being an amazing parent. Don't doubt yourself. It's a natural instinct and you have it because you're watching this and you're taking steps to better yourself and to overcome this narcissistic abuse. Our narcissistic parents are victims of childhood trauma, and they're the ones that went polar opposite way, that they've developed these disorders because they have such a fortified defense mechanism where they're not dealing with their issues. They're not dealing with their issues to such an extent that it has resulted in this pervasive pattern of abnormality in dealing with others' relationships. And that includes us as their children. So I just wanted to tell everybody, happy Father's Day. Celebrate yourselves. Celebrate the real fathers in your life that you know and absolutely appreciate. You appreciate more than anyone that has not been exposed to this toxic dynamic. And if you're like me, you've undoubtedly been searching for a kind of substitute father figure. My husband and I joke about this all the time. So if you find someone like that, hold tight because that's a blessing. You know, your family doesn't have to be biological. It's your soul family that matters. It's your real, genuine, heartfelt connections. And these people that have genetically been associated with us did not provide that. So it's up to us to move forward with our lives and do the best that we can because we have that capacity to do so. Whereas our narcissistic parents failed. They failed us. They failed themselves in dealing with their own issues. But happy Father's Day, everybody. We're bumped and we're bruised. But more than anything, we are blessed because we're overcoming this wretched abuse and we're better people because of it. We're more appreciative, we're more genuine and authentic. So happy Father's Day, guys. I'll see you soon. I love every one of you. I appreciate every one of you.